So they are sexually harassing me. You know, and they said on the law enforcement in the U.S. sexually abuses people. People like Abdul Wima, they rape them. So I'm experiencing sex abuse. I'm a Nigerian immigrant. I'm experiencing sex abuse in the U.S. All these women, they were trying to rub their body on my stuff. And I was standing here and this woman came and was trying to rub her body between my stuff and my body. There's ample space for her to walk. So sex abuse by the law enforcement is very common. Even there's another female, she said the police arrested her in Coney Island, and the police told her, the NYPD told her to give them oral sex while she was in handcuffs or something like that. So sex abuse is very alarming, and with me as a transsexual, they believe they can take it to any level with me. So they're positioning their police near the bathroom downstairs at the South Ferry, because I normally go and use the bathroom, then I go and buy stuff at the Dwayne Reed. Then I'm noticing people will be at the Dwayne Reed and stuff. They'll be calling me a man. I'm like, no, I'm a woman. And even that there's this Spanish female. She has like a tattoo, a tattoo of a poisonous snake. She's a white Spanish. She's either from Colombia. She has an accent, and she's always calling me a man. I said, look, I'm a woman. I know some of you whites think we blacks can't be feminine. We're too masculine to be feminine. I said, stop calling me a man, miss. I'm a woman. And she was laughing. I said, there's nothing funny about being racist towards me. So they wouldn't accept me as a woman. They always calling me a man. So anytime I use the bathroom, the women's bathroom, at the one train station, and I go to the Dwayne Reed, they'll be calling me a man. And now they'll be asking, do I want a shot? Do I want a shot? They keep asking me, and I say, we got shots. And I notice that police is working with them. Sometimes when I go to Dwayne Reed, the police will follow me to Dwayne Reed, and they follow me around. Say, we got a report of blacks that normally rob the Dwayne Reed. Today they position the police at the bathroom, near the bathroom at the South Ferry, because I normally go to Dwayne Reed to buy food. So they're threatening me with sex abuse. I bought this yesterday at the Dwayne Reed. I rely, because I'm anemic, I'm always tired. So my life really depends on, my energy depends on getting all these vitamins. I'm homeless and I have low blood count. So Dwayne Reed is a pharmacy and they sell all this high nutrient food. So they're abusing me sexually at the Dwayne Reed. They have a white Spanish female, she's like from Colombia. And she's always like, what's up, man? I'm not a messed up calling me, man, she'll be laughing. So, so sex abuse of blacks is not right. They said this police arrested a black Asian called Abdul Wima and raped him with a broomstick. And I think with me, they believe they can rape me and rob me. They said there was a lady in Florida, a white woman. She was in coma and she was in a nursing home. I said the black American male nurse was raping her and got her pregnant in coma, and she delivered a baby. He didn't care for her life or her health. She could have had pregnancy. She already had a health complication. She was in coma. I said this white male nurse, this black American male nurse was raping this white woman while she was in coma, and she didn't go through any prenatal or care. And while in coma, her health was that bad. She was on oxygen, and he got her pregnant like that, and she delivered a baby like an animal. And he said the nursing home denied that, their staff impregnated the woman in coma, so she must have came in pregnant for 10 years. And her own mother was like, how can somebody be pregnant for 10 years? So he's just hired this male nurse, and he raped this woman. So they were able to get the nursing home prosecuted, but she being a white woman, I think that's what got her justice. Otherwise, they said the nursing home wasn't going to call the police and would have just treated it as a case of delayed pregnancy or prolonged pregnancy, and wouldn't have tested the baby to see if the DNA matched the nurse, the black American nurse. My mother also said they sexually abused her in the hospitals here in the US also. So, they said, and she couldn't get justice while alive. While she goes there to treat a heart disease. So they were touching her body parts without her consent. So now with me, as a Nigerian transsexual, they believe they can just arrest me and maybe steal my sperm. Because I'm trying to sue US immigration. And I'm trying to sue, because when my mother brought me here, when I was a child, the immigration arrested me, said our green card doesn't cover me. And now there's been lawsuits all over the world, whereby white supremacist governments in Australia and in Canada will separate children from their parents. So these children don't have rights to be with their parents. And as a result of the separation, the Indian kids, the Aboriginal kids, they said they were separating them, the Canadian government and the Australian government were separating these kids from their parents and was experimenting on these kids, how these kids would turn out if they raised them outside, without access to their parents. And these kids said this affected their life. They couldn't really do well professionally. Their confidence level wasn't so high. And me also, and my mother, I was put in immigration prison, and my mother had to spend all the money she had. Even though I was a little older, I was already a teenager when they separated from my mother, put me in immigration prison. But it still affected me and my mother because she spent like $15,000 trying to release me from immigration prison and help me with my immigration case. So when she needed to treat her heart condition, she said she doesn't want to use the U.S. hospitals because she used to work in a U.S. hospital, said all kinds of patients abuse. Even as a Jamaican guy, his name is Beans, Beanz on Instagram. He said his mother just got killed in Kings County in August 8th. I was born on July, so I approached them, on Instagram that, look, please, if you can help me also, I'm trying to get justice, but I'm not looking to have sex with anybody for help. I'm not looking for any marriage. I'm not looking for any surrogation. And so it was kind of interesting. His own mother died on August 8th. I was born on July 8th. So my mother said, God is going to use me to really bring change to the world. So I contacted him on Instagram. I think his mother died on August 8th of last month. I'm not sure of the exact date, but I'm thinking it's August 8th. So, but he didn't respond back to me. That's that, So, so like I said, I'm not looking for a marriage with anybody. I'm not looking to adopt anybody's child. I'm just trying to get people to go to court to argue for their own rights and my rights also. I'm not looking for any kind of relationship with a person outside of court or whatever. So I believe that the law enforcement think, we can just mess up this person since my father is already dead, my mother is already dead, both were killed. Yeah, and also a black American helped me in the prison when I killed Uganda. So they say I don't have any community support. So it says it's easy to make a lie up about somebody. They say the police always frame up people and arrest them. A lot of black Americans have gone to jail for murder, and 32 years later they find them they were innocent. Even the Central Park 5 men, they said their DNA showed they weren't the one that raped the woman, but it took them 12 years to get out of jail, after they were convicted. Same when Trump said those guys should have been killed in prison if they believe they're guilty as hell or whatever. So they said, it's very easy to frame up a black person. So now I believe they think, so I don't know why they keep calling me men everywhere. They don't want me to use the women's bathroom, and they keep trying to arrest me. So I'm afraid. They say these police, they rape people like Abdullah Wimmer. So I'm afraid they're trying to kill me and take my sperm and give it to women to have kids and claim, that person was just a fraud, pretending to be a woman but was impregnating people. So I don't know why they keep trying to arrest me. So they said the white supremacy, I've done this, molest children, abuse children, sex abuse people under the law enforcement. So I don't want to be another victim, so please donate to my cash app to take them to court. There's something going on between the Dwayne Reed and this police. They always say, hire the police to harass me anytime I go to Dwayne Reed. And they try to get the police to kill me in the store. The last time I went to Dwayne Reed in Penn Station, they said, we think you stole something from Dwayne Reed, that's why your chest is high. I said, I'm wearing a prosthetic breast. I was born a male, I'm a woman. They said, that's why my chest is high. I didn't steal something from the store. So I normally go to Dwayne Reed to buy stuff, I always try to get the police to arrest me. Like George Floyd was killed after the store for the police on him. So any bad thing that happens to black Americans, the police, it would be more easy for them to get away with it if they do it to an African. Like, for example, they were trying to arrest a black American, but it was Diallo the police killed. The claim was accidental. And the police didn't go to prison even though they shot Diallo with 40 bullets. So they said that with Africans, it's very easy to abuse an African because nobody really matches, nobody really helps us like that. Even though the black American matched for Diallo. But, it was really people, it seemed to be matching for Diallo because the police, it was the black American that were trying to arrest and killed that way. And they thought Diallo was that black American. Because, black Americans don't be matching for Africans. My mother was killed here. Our own daughter's friend mental illness when I killed her. And I love the black American lawyers who would take my case. Even one called Benjamin Crump. He told me he was interested in the case. And then he stopped talking to me. Soon after I told him he was interested in the case, the police arrested me once and framed me as crazy, locked up in the mental ward. And when I came out of the mental ward 7 days later, I've been calling him every day, sending videos almost every day. What I mean by calling him every day, I send him videos almost every day. Even I'm going to send him this video, and he doesn't respond back to me. He has time for everything else on Instagram. He's always posting other people's videos on Instagram. So I'm thinking, what is going on? So I'm thinking this police may be telling people not to help me, that we're going to, defraud this immigrant, we're going to kill this immigrant, rape this immigrant, and give the sperm. I was born a male, now I'm a woman, and give the sperm to women, and could just say these Nigerians are fraud. This is a Nigerian immigrant that was pretending to be a woman, was impregnating people. And there'll be you can't ask a little baby, was your other parents raped? The little baby wouldn't know how they came into the world. So this is racial and xenophobic abuse by the U.S. law enforcement, and the Dwayne Reed is trying to get me raped. I was born a male, I'm now a woman, and each time I go to the store, they try to get me arrested. And they said the police here rape people after they arrest them. Asian immigrant Abdul Wima, he said they're raping in the bathroom. So me, I'm trying to sue U.S. immigration because when my mother brought me as a child, they arrested me as a children are not welcome. Even though my mother was a green card holder. So the court has been ruling that that's wrong to separate a child from a legal resident. So I guess to stop my lawsuit, I go to Dwayne Reed a lot with my food stamp, and they always call the police on me. So I think they want the police to kill me, and then they will rape me while they're taking away my body and give it to all these women. I was born a male, I'm not a woman. And take the sperm out. We say when you're dead, they can still get the sperm out of your body and give it to women. And so all these women become pregnant. I'm a Nigerian, so they always stereotype Nigerian as fraud. So that Nigerian was living as a woman but really likes women. All these women are pregnant. And nobody will be able to testify. My father's already dead. My mother's already dead. A black American helping me with my court papers and Ghana, the police killed him as soon as I started helping me. So your police in America are brutal, racist. They say they rape people. So please donate to my cash house so I can take this case to court when I'm alive. There's something going on between the Dwayne Reed and the White House Stand Ferry, and the police. They always call the police on me any Dwayne Reed I go to, and I always use the bathroom downstairs. So they always surround the bathroom with the police. And each time I go to the Dwayne Reed, they say, "Do I want a shot? Do I want a shot?" I'm like, "You keep asking me the same question. Are you trying to scare me with the word shot?" You know how they say, "No, but me flu shot." I said, "Please stop saying shot. Do I want a shot? Do I want a shot?" Each time I go to the Dwayne Reed, they call the police on me and they tell me, "Do I want a shot? Do I want a shot?" And the police, So please, there's racism going on, whereby they're using black immigrants for target practice. They say they pumped 40 bullets to another West African, Diallo. The police said, he was reaching for his wallet and they thought he had a gun. And they pumped 40 bullets, pop, 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 40 times, and the police never went to prison. They said they accidentally pumped 40 bullets to his body. So they're killing Africans like we're animals, and they're walking away free. Here in the U.S., my mother's been killed also. So please donate to my cash app, NYC Homeless. None of your lawyers would help me. They play games with me for 25 years now. I've been trying to sue U.S. immigration, trying to sue the police also for kicking me and my mother out after the immigration arrested me and I got bailed out of immigration prison. And I was living with my mother on Staten Island, And the police came into our home, invaded it, kicked us out, said our home is an illegal basement apartment. And my mother said they still need an eviction order. They didn't have an eviction order. And I regarded what's happening, the kid are gone. You know, so they said this racist, they love to abuse poor immigrants that don't know how to speak, they don't speak English with fluency. So that they think you're going to have a hard time explaining yourself to the courts, the lawyers, and even the jury wouldn't even like you because you're not American. You know, so please donate to my Cash App, NYC Homeless, so I can make this argument alive because nobody else will be able to make this argument for me. So if you're watching my video, the Dwayne Reed and the NYPD, they are sexually harassed me. There's this white Spanish woman, she's from Colombia. Anytime she sees me, she'll be saying, well, what's up, man? I said, I'm not a man, I'm a girl. Say you're a man. You know, I should be laughing. So I said, you're not supposed to be making fun of somebody based on their gender. So she's from Colombia, and she has a tattoo of a snake on her neck, I believe her neck or her hand. You know, they need to arrest her, because making fun of somebody's gender is a hate crime under the gender violence law, and they always call the police on them in Nigerian. So they need to arrest that Spanish woman. I have a video on YouTube. She has the picture, she has the tattoo of a snake. And she always, you know, they always call the police on me on every Dwayne Reed I go to. They're saying, look, my chest looked like I had stolen goods. I'm like, stop insulting me. I'm wearing a prosthetic breast. I was born a male, I'm not a woman. So I wear a prosthetic breast. I wouldn't call it a fake breast. The right word is a prosthetic breast. You know, so they're trying to get the police to kill me and claim, you know, they thought I stole something and that's why my chest is huge. You know, so they're arresting me because of my gender. And a white guy was also killed for being gay in America, I think Matthew Shepard. So there's a law that you can't arrest somebody for being gay, Matthew Shepard law. So that white Colombian woman with a snake tattoo on her arm or something, you know, of a deadly snake, poisonous snake with venom. So, and she's always insulting me, trying to get me angry. And she said, a lot of you blacks like to steal, that's why I'm most afraid of you blacks. You know, so under this Eric Adams, the white racist and white Spanish have taken over. He sold his soul to Trump. She always insults me every day. She's from Colombia and this house something, none of them care. You know, right is right, I believe, to them or whatever. So please, my son Eric has been killed, my mother has been killed. Even my mother's daughters were acting funny towards her. While me and her was sitting at NYPD, so our address were trying to kill her in Pennsylvania. So they were poisoning her food, and my mother ran away from Pennsylvania. And the daughters came here to New York and was discouraging my mother. My mother was ended up in the hospital because she said she was suspecting one of the daughters, Bolanle, was moving with a gang in Pennsylvania. And sometimes some of the gangs have affiliation with the FBI because she was using drugs. My mother alleged she was using drugs. And sometimes the FBI will arrest drug users and hire them as informants. So my mother was saying this daughter was putting something in her food. My mother would be having bloody diarrhea and would be feeling nauseous and her heart would be congested. You know, and I didn't really know what my mother was talking about until last year they arrested a black American man. Said he had custody of his child and was tired of paying child support. He was sharing custody of the child with the child's mother. And he was putting contrafeed poison in the child's food. And the child was vomiting, the child was complaining of heart pain and stomach pain, and the child died in the hospital. This was how I knew what my mother was telling me was for real. And I said, you know, they did an autopsy of the child's brain and saw contrafeed poison. Because they said the contrafeed poison, the blood wouldn't show, you always hides in your brain. And this Bolanle, after my mother said she doesn't want any autopsy. And the hospital told me this Bolanle came to the hospital and said she doesn't want autopsy. I was like, why would you honor her above me? So I believe she's working for the FBI. I always share in this neighborhood. She walks by me, you know, almost all the time. And even though she lives in Pennsylvania. So my mother was saying that was something she noticed about her. Yeah, you know, that even though when my mother fled Pennsylvania to come to New York, this Bolanle showed up in the hospital as well. And she was wondering who's giving this Bolanle our location. So now that my mother is there, I always see her here. I want this call, you know. So she may be working for the FBI. They said the FBI always employs Africans to target other Africans. This is what they do. And I think they just want to get me annoyed. She's also a very violent person. She used to beat up my mother in Nigeria, so she wants to come to America. And my mother brought her to America, and she beat up the white family she was staying with in America. So she's been to immigration, she's been to juvenile detention. She's very violent also. So I think that the FBI hired her to try to provoke me. She beats up my mother when my mother was alive. She had a violent, she was going to school in the Bronx, she had a violent altercation. I think she beat up the kid there while she was in school. So the FBI is hiring people to provoke me, violent people. I'm not a violent person. They say, but if they can frame you as a violent person, they can just kill you. And they know nobody will match for me. The Nigerian embassy is not helping me. So the FBI is setting up Nigerians to be killed. And there's a white Spanish woman also. She's saying, you blacks always like to steal, So that's why I'm going to watch you. So I'm going to be watching you especially. You blacks like to steal. And she's always laughing. I'm like, that's not funny. You're from Colombia somewhere. She speaks excellent English. But you have no right to be causing a storm in America and be engaging in Black Lives Matter. And anytime I use the bathroom downstairs at the one train station, the police will surround the bathroom. And they'll come and bang on the door anytime I use the bathroom in any train station. So the MTA boss, Jan Oliver, said he's going to get rid of all the homeless. So he has tricks. And since then, one of the MTA workers, his name is Tramel Thompson. I don't really know how to pronounce a lot of names, English names. I'm Nigerian. He always records his own video here. And he's saying the MTA is dangerous, they're not to shut people up. And I'll send this video to him. Now, can you please help me, sir? I'm not looking for any sexual relationship. I'm not looking to have a chat with anybody. I'm not looking for anybody to inherit my property if I'm killed by the police. I just need to take this case to court. I've been trying to get him to borrow me money, but I see him around his neighborhood all the time, and I send him videos. I don't know what is going on. Sometimes he does the peace sign. I'm not looking. I don't know what is implying. But I'm not looking for any sexual relationship with anybody. I'm not looking to get married. I'm not looking to have a chat with anybody. But please, under U.S. law, Section 1981, I was born in 1981. I believe this Samuel was born in 1981 also. We just celebrated his birthday, so it's kind of interesting that we're both born in 1981. And Section 1981, under U.S. law, says, you can't, you can't discriminate against a person based on their nationality or race and ask them to bribe you to help them or whatever. Section 981 just says, you're supposed to respect someone's rights. If somebody wants to do business with you, you're supposed to respect whatever terms they want. So I'm looking for someone to borrow me a loan. I'm not looking for sex. I'm not looking to adopt anybody's child. I'm looking to have any kind of relationship with a person other than just borrow me a loan so I can go to court and I can get a place to live. So I just don't know why nobody wants to help me. Even though the same thing I'm saying, this Tramel Thompson, I don't know how to pronounce your name, sir. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce the English name. I'm not mispronouncing your name. He was also saying the same thing. And I see him almost all the time. He was born in 1981. I'm born in 1981. So what's the problem? And he said he's trying to help his fellow Black Americans. They are being abused by the MTA. So it's just so interesting. But it looks, I thought he was much older. I don't mean to make fun of him. But he was well put together than me. I'm like homeless on the street. So this is very interesting that, we can both be born in 1981. I was very brilliant in Nigeria. I finished high school at 15. But he's doing much better than me. He has the car, he has a house, and I'm a homeless on the street. And Section 1981 says two people shouldn't be treated different based on their nationality. I have a green card. I'm a Nigerian. I was born in 1981. An American born in 1981 is Black American. And he's doing much better than me. I was very brilliant in school. So this is very interesting. And you, Nigerian embassy, you need to be ashamed of yourself for allowing this white supremacists to make Nigerians inferior. When I was in Nigeria, all my teachers used to tell me, this kid is going to go far in life. My mother took me to other countries. So this kid is just so brilliant. We've never seen, are you Nigerian embassy? You need to be ashamed of yourself. A Black American born in 1981 like me is doing much better. Addressing, is shaking hands with governors, shaking hands with mayor, and it's helping to fight against this MTA. I am trying to fight against this MTA. I was born in 1981 also, but I'm almost on the street. I can't even use the bathroom. So you Nigerian embassy, you need to be ashamed of yourself for allowing this white supremacy to say slavery was good for blacks, because a lot of blacks do much better because of slavery. And you Nigerian embassy, and my passport has been stolen, my green card has been stolen, and you don't contact me back, I'm going to sue you for human trafficking. You know, a black American born in 1981 is doing much better. His name is Tramel Thompson. He's doing much better than me. You know, I thought it was in his 60s already, because he's well put together. I don't mean to make fun of him. It's not really because of his looks, but the way he articulates his words and stuff. And I'm born in 1981 also. I'm just on the street. They treat me like a little child. The MTA workers who treat me say, get out of the bathroom. Get out of here. Go back to Africa. You know, they'll be laughing at me. The black American workers and everything. The Nigerian embassy, you need to be ashamed of yourself. You spent billions of dollars trying to free. You claim you're trying to free black South Africans from apartheid. And since we're just doing that, spending billions of dollars just to trend. Because back then in the 80s, it was trending, free Mandela and stuff. So you spend billions of dollars on whatever is trending around the world. You know, the Liberian Civil War, you spent billions of dollars trying to stop the Liberian Civil War, where descendants of black Americans were attacking Africans after they returned back from America after slavery. You know, and you were able to spend billions of dollars to bring peace to Liberia, because that case was trending all over the world. So you Nigerian government, you spend oil money, billions of dollars on any case that's trending, and just because I'm a Nigerian, I'm not trending, you don't help me. I'm a Nigerian on the street, homeless, I'm being sexually abused, and you Nigerian government, you spend oil money, billions of dollars on any case that's trending. You were helping black South Africans because they were trending in the 80s, trying to free Mandela, and you were helping Liberians. You spent billions of dollars because it was trending that there were black Americans that returned from America and were abusing Africans in Africa during the Liberian Civil War. I spent billions of dollars there, but because I'm not trending, you don't help it. So this is a shame. So I'm going to send you this video, you Nigerian government. You know, so please, I'm not looking for marriage. I'm not looking to be a surrogate. I'm a Nigerian. My mother has been killed. A black American Spanish has been killed. And there's a Spanish woman always say I look like a chief that we blacks really always feel. You know, and she's been making fun of my sexuality. So you're a man, come on. That's what I said, a woman. And she's been laughing. She speaks with like a Colombian accent. You know, she speaks English with a Colombian accent. And I'm not disparaging her nationality, but she has no right to be making fun of other people's nationality and skin color. So they need to arrest her under the gender violence law. And I hope you, Nigerian embassy, prosecute her internationally also for whoever hired and brought her to America to be trying to set up blacks to be killed. You know, there's been cases whereby racial conflict leads to killings of blacks. You know, the Trayvon Martin case, I don't really know much about that case, but they said there may be a racial element to that. Even though Jack Zimmerman is Spanish, a white Spanish girl, said the black American guy punched him in the face first. But some people said he was following that black American kid around, you know, which got that kid angry. So nobody should try to provoke you. Stalking and provocation. You know, there was a day I was trying to buy stuff, and the black American worker said, I can't attend to you. Let me go get my Spanish manager. And here comes this Colombian lady. And she was like, what's up, man? I was like, I'm not a man. She said, no, you're a man. You're a man. Stop lying. You know, she was laughing. So there are even the black Americans, you know, it's like the police told them, use this woman to intimidate, you know, so it would look like, you know, it's not a black American that got this African killed. So it's not racism, it's not hate, it's a Colombian woman. You know, so then you Nigerian embassy, this is a shame on you that, you know, you're hiding. I've been sending my passport, my Nigerian passport has been stolen. You know, the way they stole my passport before they killed Oregano. My passport had my visa. I was going to sue the U.S. immigration that even though I was a child, I came to America, I had a visa and my passport. And they said children are not allowed in America with their parents, so we have to arrest you. You know, regardless of whether you have a visa or not. And my mother had a heart attack after that. She was like, what baloney? And they sent out my picture to the FBI. My mother had about a heart attack after that. She's now dead. You know, and she, you know, and And the reason why she brought me to America was because my father was abusing me in Nigeria. And the Nigerian police wouldn't help me, and they told her to take me away from Nigeria. That Nigeria is not safe for children. That the law doesn't allow the police to intervene, and that the culture allows adults to abuse children unless if the child is dead. That's the only time they can charge the person for murder. And that was the head of the police, inspector general or something like that. I have it's information I give to the immigration at the airport. His name and everything. And he said the Nigerian government will assist me here to make sure I'm resettled fully in America. He said because of the Nigerian laws, children, they can't help children if they're being abused in Nigeria. And he encouraged my mother to take me to America right away. Saying Nigeria's not safe for her, so go to America right away. And when I arrived in America, I was arrested. I said children are not allowed here either. So all my life has just been so hectic. And now you have this Colombian woman. I'm just guessing she's from Colombia. She's a white Spanish. I'm just thinking she might be from another South Africa. She might be from another South Africa, but my guess would be Colombia. Because while in immigration prison, I dealt with a lot of people from different countries, so I seem to be a little bit aware of some cultures. I'm not trying to racially stereotype her, but it doesn't really matter where she's from. But she's a racist white South American, and she makes fun of my gender, so I don't look like a woman, I look like a man, and she'll be laughing and say we blacks we like to steal, and that she's going to be watching me because we blacks like to steal. So she's trying to get the police to kill me. The women always call the police on me all the time. And when I go downstairs at the one train station to use the bathroom, the police will start banging on the door. So they treat me like an animal. I'm in Nigeria, and Nigerian embassy is not helping me. My green card has been stolen, my passport has been stolen. So please, Nigerian embassy, you gotta help me. This is getting more serious. I don't want to be trafficked. They said this NYPD rape people. There was an Asian immigrant, Abdul Wima, they raped him with a broomstick. I said another thing is I was born a man, I'm not a woman. So, they can easily, I don't know why they're telling people to be calling me man, anywhere they see me. So I don't know if they're trying to rape me, kill me, and then do a necropsy, which is some people like to have sex with dead people, and take my sperm out and then give it to women, and and have women have children for me, and just to mock Nigerians that we Nigerians are fraud. Even when we pretend to be women, we still have sex. They said, after slavery ended, they said the supremacists in this country were still psychologically holding blacks down, hiring black American women, hiring black Americans to portray caricature roles in Hollywood, like Aunt Jemina. The Aunt Jemina, she's on the pancake package, and she had her eyes, wide open or so. So they used to hire. So after slavery ended in America, the white racists were controlling Hollywood, and they were still putting blacks under mental slavery. So they wouldn't hire blacks to be on TV. Even Oprah, I think she talked about it. There was even a time people were marching in America. That the TV station were doing a blackout. They said blacks don't know how to speak English proper. So so you won't see black people reading the news. Even as Sharpton was marching, telling people to turn their TV off. It was all over the international media. They're in America, they're doing a blackout. Al Sharpton's marching. All the newspapers in Nigeria, they were reporting it and stuff. So you Nigerian embassy to not give a damn, really, and even when these police frame me up, so they always frame up blacks as crazy. Even Michael Jackson's father said it. Said when they were calling his son Wacko Jacko, said this is what these racists do. They always call blacks crazy. I always try to make us subhuman. And Michael Jackson's father said, he was afraid they were going to kill his son. And in 2009, he said when he got the news that his son is dead, he knew they must have killed him. And funny enough, my mother used to say that also. And me and my mother was on FBI surveillance because I was in immigration prison around that court around that time. So I was like, that was one of the weird things. I was like, why is Michael Jackson's father saying the same thing my mother would say? So my mother would say things like, once they start calling you crazy in this country, you're done. So crazy people have no right. So me and my mother was under FBI surveillance, and my mother used to say I look like Michael Jackson when I was a kid. I was born a male, I'm not a woman. So I don't know if somebody was telling the Michael Jackson family that look, that's a Nigerian that the mother said looks like your child. Maybe if you need, it said Michael Jackson always has people that body double. Not necessarily Michael Jackson, but I heard a lot of these Hollywood people. Sometimes they have body doubles, that can play them in movies and stuff. So I don't know what this FBI is doing with all the surveillance information, but I'm getting harassed. The police are hiring people to stalk and harass like this Colombian woman. I'm calling her Colombian. She may not be Colombian, but she's a white Spanish. She speaks English with an accent. And she's always saying we blacks like to steal. And I say, you're just like all these blacks that like to steal. My eyes on you. I'm going to get you hunted down. And she used the word hunted down. And she'll be smiling. I'm saying, you're very racist. And the fact that you smile about all this stuff, and I guess it's going to say it's all in fun. I think that the trainer, like, you saw this person and you're going to claim in court. You're just having fun. You didn't mean it. And they call the police on me, scare me. To the extent sometimes when I run out of juice, I have anemia, I get very weak. I'm afraid to go shop. And it's a shame that even 500 years after slavery, countries like Nigeria passively support of slavery. And then a black American that was born in 1981, I was born in 1981, is doing much better than me. Because under the slavery and racism in America, there's a racial hierarchy. And because of his US passport, he's very able to have better opportunities than me. Me with my green card, it's been stolen with the police arrested me. Called me crazy for no reason. They used to send black American kids to spit at me on Bear Ridge Avenue and 4th Avenue. And I would report those kids to when I'm in the train station. And I reported them to the NYPD officer that they hired to be guarding that train station. And I say, it's you that we don't like. I said, we're going to arrest you and lie. I say, you're always fighting people. I'm like, excuse me? So I reported, and she's from Africa also, but she speaks with a New York accent. And she's a dark-skinned woman. Her name it's an African name. I don't remember her name, but I immediately called IAB. I called 911 after that. And as I was reporting her to the IAB, Internal Affairs Bureau of the IAB, the black American police officer was hanging up the phone. I can't understand your accent. Say, yes, you're just talking blah, 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 and he hung up the phone on me. So they're hiring black Americans to make fun of Nigerians, make fun of her accent. My mother's been killed, and even they hire Africans also to make fun of Africans, this NYPD, and now they hired a Colombian woman. She said, you Africans, you black people like to steal, so I'm going to watch you. So if you ever try to rob us, we're going to hunt you. And she uses the word we. And they always call the police on everything when we say you blacks like to steal. And I always record all the time, making all this racist statement. So shame on you, Nigerian embassy, that you passively support slavery and racism. And this could be an indication that you're all for the slave trade. And that's not good. That's not good. I'm not threatening you. I'm just reminding you of your international obligation under international law to report crime and to prosecute slavery anywhere in the world. I'm going to contact Interpol and everything. And I don't want to be a sex traffic, but this is bizarre. Under this Trump, a lot of racists are getting emboldened. It's just 8 months or 9 months since Trump became president, and it's all chaos everywhere. Like Kamala said, that she's got all the intel, all the secret reports that this Trump is racist, and it's going to turn this place to a racism nightmare. And it's already happening. I don't know why Kamala was vice president and they couldn't, prosecute him for trying to turn a democracy to an apartheid. And even he himself was saying that as soon as he becomes president, he's going to be a dictator for life. So people are always trying to touch my back. Sometimes they will hit my back on the car. I don't know what I did. I don't know. Some of them are just not careful in general. Sometimes when I look away from my back, and there's no sorry, nothing. I don't know if it's on purpose. A woman also was standing close to my back, and she came between me and my back, almost pushed my back. That's when I started recording. There was ample space for her to walk, and she came in between me and my back. It's the tiny space, and Sometimes when I'm not looking, my bag would have fallen on the floor. They hire little kids to push my bag on the floor. Things that would provoke me and nag me to death. My mother and was also doing that. They came into the hospital when my mother was suffering. And while I was in the immigration court, my mother had a first heart attack. And while she was having a second heart attack in 2015, said our daughters also came to the hospital to nag her to encourage her to die. And told the hospital to lock her up. She was just 29. So they said, it's called gaslighting in American culture, that if you don't like somebody, you nag them, you do everything to make them angry. Even Michael Jackson's father said it. Said, they always try to make you snap as a black person framed as crazy, and then kill you and claim you died of your own craziness. You were a crazy person, you were out of control, and you weren't mature, you weren't, you were too emotionally, you had emotional problems, and that caused you to die. So, and I said the court would agree. So gaslighting, they said, gaslighting is so popular that they said there was a movie done in 1960s called Gaslight. So it was an instant seller in Hollywood, and and like they say, art imitates life, or life imitates art. Or art imitates life, and life imitates art. So please, this is a nightmare. This is a nightmare. A movie was done, Gaslight, in America, 1960s. And now people are learning from that movie that if you don't like somebody, just turn and do it. There's this Colombian woman, white Spanish woman, 6 with an accent, and she always, taunts me for being a transgender. So I should go back to being a man. I'll be laughing and say, you blacks like to steal, I'm gonna hunt you down. So this is bizarre. So please donate to my Cash App, NYC Homeless. I'm just trying to get a hotel room and escape this madness and go to court, fight for my right. So they're supposed to put me in a shelter. There's a court order since 1990s that when the police evict you from a basement apartment, vacate, they call it, through the Department of Buildings, then they have to put you in a hotel room. Even I saw this at Ricardo, near the Immigration Plaza. I said something to help me and it wouldn't help me. And it's the line that anytime she sees the homeless, he always forces her sister to go put them in a hotel room, give them money. He's been doing that to solid black Americans, but it wouldn't help us. My credit card has been stolen, my passport has been stolen. That's what I'm experiencing.